Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have PlayStation X executives completely roasting Xbox, calling them out, calling them stupid, saying they're failures. We also have one of the more intriguing informations coming out, where PlayStation is actually once again running one of the big Xbox like head honcho games way better. We're going to show you guys gameplay on that and the comparisons, and as well just kind of discuss too that Game Pass is ultimately failing and the fact that everyone is gooning to Marvel Rivals. A lot of fun stuff to talk about throughout today, so if you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy, and of course, please leave a like, subscribe, and give me all of your thoughts and comments down below. And I just hope you guys having a nice, lovely summer day. Whenever I'm done with this video, I'm gonna go outside, go for a nice walk, get a good workout in, and then maybe play some games later on tonight. But very first and foremost, I want to talk about more of the juicy stuff over here, because right now people are calling out Xbox again. It's kind of a lot nowadays, I feel like, saying that Hellblade 2 is actually running better on the PlayStation 5. Now, as you guys probably know, well, I would hope you guys would know. If not, then I don't know what type of videos you guys are watching. Basically, Hellblade was a very big game when it comes to Xbox, meant to, like, be cinematic, beautiful, good-looking game, good graphics, everything. And we have this over here too, where, well, now we're seeing just the game itself runs way better on PlayStation 5. Now, I always love whenever we have these big YouTube channels, such as like Digital Foundry, that do these big in-depth runs, and they go and have a chance to showcase up these various gameplay vibes. But when it comes to this stuff, the PlayStation is now confirmed running better. Looking at, say, the Xbox over here, you guys can kind of go and see, looking through the chart, it's not a consistent 60. It's pretty good. Like, this is a little bit nitpicky, don't get me wrong, but we even saw that spike to like 55 down there. We're seeing these huge kind of drop downs of inconsistencies, and like, it's like I said, it's mostly 60 and it's mostly fine. Of course, the PS5 Pro does technically have better stats regardless, but everything is technically running just slightly better overall. So let me go pause on this really quick for you guys. If you guys look through this one, the average resolution over here on the PlayStation might be a little bit smaller at the end, but it makes the resolution a little bit better overall. Not resolution a little bit better, it makes like the performance a little bit better too. On top of that, obviously the Pro is going to be way better. It's kind of weird and kind of mute to bring up the Pro, because the Pro itself obviously will have a higher resolution, and as well as also better frames, such as better hardware. It kind of makes sense. I think everyone kind of knows that. But there's also bigger internal stuff when it comes to, say, the AI upscaling, AI integrations, how well it's running between the console itself, and overall, people are just seeing that it is running better on the PlayStation. And as well, on a separate topic, it's still also crazy knowing that the PlayStation 5 Pro is the best console to be playing Xbox games still. Now, that's been a long run narrative. We've known that ever since Xbox decided not to go round 2. That's fine, we get it, but at the same time, it is kind of crazy to go and see. But overall, it did kind of seem like the PlayStation 5 Pro obviously was better. The PS5 did kind of seem to have slightly more consistent frame rates, and that means it was optimized better to have a more consistent 60 FPS base on the game itself. And even without the PS5 Pro, like, once again, the PS5 Pro obviously will be better. But it just kind of shows that the game itself seems like it was a little bit more fine-tuned on PlayStation than it was on Xbox, which is intriguing, because Hellblade was meant to be this like crazy successful game, and I'm not even sure on how well the sales are doing on PlayStation, because the game itself was cool. I don't want to hit on the game, but the game itself also wasn't really that good. I played on Game Pass. I did a day of it. It was a cool experience, but it also wasn't really enticing. It was a very barren, gross, very linear, not... It's like watching a movie. Sometimes those games do well. Think like, I don't know, think like The Walking Dead, think a lot of PlayStation games as well, but wasn't as fun, and I did drop it and never beat it. Like, it was puzzly, combat-y. It wasn't a bad game. It truly was not a bad game, but it just wasn't the best. So anyway, people are kind of calling it out, kind of making complaints on this, discussing all the stuff too as well, and I think that's overall fine. But regardless, the PS5 Pro is chilling. It has way better locked-in 60 FPS, has higher quality preset modes available, has higher base resolutions, has better upscaling, but we all kind of already knew that for a while, so don't have to super hardcore touch on it. But that's why it's intriguing, because Game Pass is still kind of that big seller. And as I mentioned, exactly why I'm using this as a segue, because Game Pass itself is why I played the game. I barely played the game because I knew I wasn't getting the value that I cared about for it. So as a consumer, I appreciate Xbox and Game Pass. But at the same time, it really, I don't know, how do I word it? It's like you're basically just renting games, so you don't feel too invested into games themselves. And saying, look, Game Pass isn't changing how Xbox players play, but it's hurting big game sales. And I do agree. Because if you have a big game like Starfield, I actually played a lot of hours of Starfield. I did like 20 hours of Starfield, and that's a lot apparently compared to some people. And I enjoyed it. But other games too as well, like Hellblade, I played for maybe 4 hours and the game was short and I still just never beat it. I was like, whatever, I didn't even spend money on this technically. I know I did technically with Game Pass, but still, and that's why I think people like over here like Sean Layden, who is a generational hater on Xbox, I'm gonna be honest. He's just a hater overall, but this makes for fun content. Saying former PlayStation executive Sean Layden is not a fan of subscription services. Under the subscription model, the developer essentially becomes a wage slave. He argues, calling Xbox developers wage slaves. They're not creating value, putting it on a marketplace, hoping it explodes in profit, sharing it overages, I'm guessing like over leverages, and all that nice stuff. It's just you pay me X dollars an hour, I built you a game, here, go put it on your servers. I don't think it's really inspiring for game developers. And I do kind of agree a little bit. It is kind of like, hey, we'll give you $5 million, and that means all your overall workers are getting your baseline salary paid, and if the game pops off and does amazing, think Pal World, and you're not getting the cut if it's only on Xbox. That's why Pal World, launched everywhere. And that's a rough thing. Like, you're basically, as a business, you're not taking the risk. So it's good if you don't have faith in your product, like if it's going to fail, or you need the funding, or your first time game. Like, there's reasons for it. But most people aren't really happy with that. Like, because if your game pops off, you lost so much money. You spend $10 million on Game Pass, that might be great, but what if you would have made $100 million? What if you made Among Us? What if you made, like Repo? What if you made all these other big games like Peak, etc., which I would argue are actually really good games on a Game Pass. But if you have 1 million people playing it, Xbox is getting the money. Versus if you have 1 million people buy it, over time after paying for development costs, you made the money itself. And look at this. This is the perfect example for me. Maybe we'll touch on this a little bit more on an Xbox video, like a pure Xbox One. But Game Pass subscribers sample a lot of games. And what did I just go and say when it comes to me playing Hellblade? Now, if I'm buying it on PlayStation, I'm going to probably beat the game. But if I'm playing on a Game Pass, I played it for 3-4 hours. I did one stream of it on Twitch and YouTube, and that was about it. Like, I gave up. But basically, if you are a player who spent $50 on a game, you are more likely to play them for longer, which I would actually agree on. The double whammy opinion. So this guy is not wrong. He's calling out Xbox, calling people wage slaves. That's crazy, but it's kind of true. And then you can see all these kind of comments where people are like, hey, like, you're just not playing more games. Something we've noticed, and we were a bit surprised, but all the efforts done by Microsoft with Game Pass, the acquisition of many studios, and the release of very high-quality games in Game Pass, we struggled to find significant different behavior compared to players on PlayStation 2 as well. But I think a lot of this more so kind of comes down to stuff like people buying the games too as well. So as I just mentioned my own self too on top of that. So it really just depends, like there's not really like playing more games. They're not really spending more time gaming than PlayStation players do as well. But that's like not what you want. On a subscription service, you want people spending more time on the subscription services to make them probably more likely to keep on reoccurring and playing it. Unless they're trying to go on the, we hope you just go and subscribe for a big game, think like Oblivion, think Starfield, think Halo, think whatever, and you just either kind of half-ass it. Think how people do it for gyms. Like, gyms make a lot of money from people who don't go to the gym, and maybe that's their overall scheme. But yeah, like, this is exactly why they probably want to sell these games on PlayStation. I think we already know at the same time, and I think this is why people like PlayStation executives are like, hey man, like, you're not doing things right. Like, you're almost like simplifying the idea of gaming, and you're kind of giving people a weird product that are not going to probably be good for long term. Because as you sit there, and you're just like, well, Game Pass is going to have it in a year anyway for way cheaper. Why buy the game day one? So it hurts big AAA sales. Or as well, if you're just waiting for the game, you're probably not going to buy it if you're an Xbox Game Pass user, because you're just, what's the reason for it? What's the point? So it is crazy to go and see that people are just calling people out. And both on the developer side too, because we have had confirmation that some developers will not make games on Xbox. They gave up on Xbox unless they're getting a Game Pass deal, and it seems like Game Pass usually would prefer a console exclusivity, and then you lose PlayStation sales, Switch sales, or PC sales, depending on the game itself, because we've seen various models, but it mostly skews towards you are an Xbox exclusive, and at the end of the day, you are then technically just a wage slave as a developer. So I would actually kind of agree on this. I like Game Pass as a consumer, as a developer, game creator, maker. It doesn't seem like the best, and I think a lot of people would agree. So I would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below, and also Marvel rivals are trying to protect themselves and say that we do not have a Gooners playing our games. I disagree, but you wanna know what? I still like the game. Keep your thoughts and comments and everything down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. I appreciate y'all for watching.